Good afternoon, fellow HSC students. I hope you're enjoying your last year of school and receiving some good results. Today I've decided to create a presentation to recommend a companion to Henry Reynolds' Why Weren't We Told, an autobiography centered around a personal search for the truth about our history, exploring the issues and secrets of frontier conflict between the Aboriginals and white settlers. I've selected Turallyman, a documentary shown on the ABC program Catalyst, which will serve as an effective related text for Module C of the HSC Advanced English course. Turallyman explores the political and historical significance of a chance discovery of a set of bones believed to have belonged to an Aboriginal man. It takes viewers on an odyssey through scientific research and Aboriginal beliefs, also raising questions of frontier conflict. In this presentation, I will analyse how both texts convey their political perspectives and how they try to position the reader to believe in what they are saying. At the start of the documentary, a mid-range upwards camera view of soaring, circling birds, accompanied by non-diegetic eerie crime music, instantly sets the scene of isolated outback bushland with a predatory atmosphere. This positions the audience into thinking that something bad has happened, enticing them to continue viewing. This notion is shortly confirmed through the non-diegetic overvoice of the narrator, who states, "A murder mystery has emerged." The use of alliteration is used to represent an extended metaphor of frontier conflict that, along with the narrator's other statement, a chance discovery unearths a powerful secret, gravitates the sense of mystery that enthralls the audience and hints at a greater political and historical agenda. The sense of importance is heightened further through the use of talking head style interviews to portray Badger Bates, an Aboriginal elder who found the bones. This use of Badger gives rise to the inextricable connection the Aboriginals have with the land and makes the audience feel like the Aboriginals are going to play a big part in this investigation. The documentary is similar to Why Weren't We Told, in that both mediums instantly raise curiosity of the audience by setting a platform of questions, which in Why Weren't We Told is shown by a constant repetition of why were we never told and why didn't we know. There is, however, contrasting ways in which the compositions present their views, with the documentary being very objective and factual, which Reynolds' book juxtaposes through a very subjective, personal and opinionated view, represented through the profound use of I throughout the book. This demonstrates how the same political and historical issue can be presented in more than one way. Throughout the documentary, the audience begins to witness the polyphonic use of white experts through the talking head style interviews. The use of white experts represents a collaborative heteroglaciar media composition that promotes a culturally unified perspective through science and Aboriginal input. This in turn adds to the credibility and authenticity of the documentary, which is supported by the comments of Professor Richard Wright, one of Australia's foremost forensic anthropologists, who states a 99.6% probability that the skull is an Aboriginal man from this part of Australia. The sense of unified perspective is heightened by the use of female experts, which juxtapose the traditional ivory tower male experts. Furthermore, the producers use cliché production methods to portray the experts in their professional environments and endow them with greater status. This can be seen in the narrow camera angle shot of library books as Dr. Michael Westaway tries to uncover some information that will help the investigation. This use of cliché production methods further gravitates to the credibility of the documentary, while also adding to the academic and intellectual prowess of the experts. This is an example of how the producers try to depoliticize the issue through an objective, collaborative and scientific perspective that inclines the viewer to believe and trust in what is being seen. This contrasts to Why Weren't We Told through Reynolds' abundant use of low modality and speculative language, portrayed in the quotes, "We estimate that there were about 400 deaths," and "it may have been as many as 1,000 or more." These quotes demonstrate the cracks in Reynolds' attempt at portraying factual information, which leads to the reader starting to question the authenticity and credibility of his research. This is also an example of how the same idea can be depicted differently. At the end of the documentary, Badger Bates invites the scientists and production team to join in and be a part of the traditional Aboriginal burial of the bones. The use of mid-range social distance camera view gives an inclusive feeling to the viewers, making them feel a part of the ceremony. The use of gentle, soporific, non-diegetic sounds, along with the burial of the bones, represents a sense of calm and closure to the issue. This is another way in which the documentary deproblematizes the issue, preventing it from becoming contentious and controversial. This contrasts to Why Weren't We Told, which ends with a more polemical and edgy tone depicted in the quote, "The racist past still weighs heavily on the present." This use of high modality and extended metaphorical language makes us as readers feel burdened by the actions of our history, which is also reflected in the quote, "The incubus which burdens us all." This quote uses highly inclusive language that creates a heavy tone and a dark ending to the book, implying that the only way to move on is to confront and acknowledge our faults of the past. In summary, I've demonstrated how the ABC documentary Turallyman is a good related text to Henry Reynolds' Why Weren't We Told? I've shown how the two mediums are able to depict essentially the same issue of frontier conflict in contrasting ways, with Terralia Man being more objective and scientific, while Why Weren't We Told being more subjective and personal opinionated. Good luck for the rest of the year. I hope this presentation helps you improve your marks.